Hey everybody, Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell. Welcome back for another episode as I do my MMORPG Analysis series. And today we're going to be talking about EverQuest, the original EQ, the OG, if you will, of the MMORPG genre. And is it worth it playing it in 2022? Does the game still have anything to offer to the modern player in 2022? It's a good question, I think. We're going to dive into that today. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates like this in the future. Don't forget to check out all the other playlists that I have here on YouTube because I do a lot of different things between video games, TV shows, books, so on and so forth. There's also a Discord channel if you want to join our gaming community. Links are down below. There's also a Patreon page for the World of the Weave and the Void, which is the map behind me. Check all that stuff out. Let's dive in. So, first, having come out in 1999, it's kind of hard to think about EverQuest as a game that could still be a modern contender for someone's attention, right? There's a lot of games out there to play, and a lot of really good games. And the reality is that there are so many games out there these days that a lot of people find themselves cycling through over and over, always kind of searching for something interesting, something new. Most games these days, whether it's New World or Lost Ark, are losing 90% of their population within the first 3 to 4 months of the game. Because there's not a lot of meat on the bones of those games. So when people start talking about value for money, I always look backwards rather than forwards and say, well, hey, there are a lot of really good older MMORPGs out there that have 10, 15, and in the case of EverQuest, 20 plus years of lore and content for you to sink your teeth into. So I think when it comes to value for money, EverQuest is definitely going to be a game that is way up there at the top in my list in any case. Now, the reality of graphics is going to be the biggest hurdle that people have to get over because, yeah, the graphics for EverQuest are seriously outdated. But I look at people being willing to play these pixelated retro games for the Nintendo Switch or the PC or the mobile, and I say, well, if you're willing to put up with older graphics, then why is it a big deal or why should it be a big deal with EverQuest? So if you can get past the graphics part, there's a lot here to like. Obviously, the content is vast, and you might be confused about where to go. If you log into the current version, the actual live servers, they have everything broken down into these amazing leveling guides that tell you all these different routes that you can go if you want to go explore this content or that content or the other. So it's a great way to figure out a course if you've never played the game before. Plus, these days they've got the new starter area, which I played earlier. I guess not earlier. This would be late last year. I played through and did a few episodes through that, and it's interesting because it's a lot more streamlined than things used to be back in the day when there was no hand holding at all and you were just kind of set loose in a city and you had to figure things out. There's definitely now a course to guide you through the first 10 levels or so, and then they can get you out into the real world and you can go from there. One of the real big decisions that people have to make, though, with EverQuest is do I play on one of the live servers that exists as they are today? Do I play on one of the new progression servers, the TLE, TLP? I always get confused over what they're calling them. Or do I play on Project 1999? And I think that that answer depends largely on what type of EverQuest do you want to experience, or which version of EverQuest do you want to experience? The the most classical version of the game that you're going to get is going to be on Project 1999, which or P99 as it's known for short, which is an official emulator server in the sense that it has been given the green light from Daybreak to continue operating, even though it is an emulator. But it only goes up to Velius, which is the game's third expansion. And it is the most classical version of the game you're going to get because they don't have any of the modern features. They don't have the streamlined leveling system. They don't have the leveling guides. There's still XP penalty, XP loss, corpse runs, all that stuff. It is the most hardcore version of the game you're going to find because it's like the game was in the first 3 or 4 years of the game existing. So if that's the kind of experience that you want, and you want a hard mode version of EverQuest, then you should check out P99. Now, if you want the easiest and the most streamlined version of the game, then you should play on one of the live servers, because that's going to get you the fastest XP. You're going to be able to go up to the level cap as quickly as possible. It's all streamlined. You've got leveling guides. You've got all sorts of modern quality of life features that have been added to the game. And they continue to patch new content into the game every single year. So there's a ton of content for you to explore. Then there are, of course, the TLP servers. I have spent the most amount of time outside of old school EverQuest and P99. I've spent the most amount of time on the progression servers, which are the servers where, when they come out, the game uses modern code and modern infrastructure, and there's some modern quality of life features, but the game goes back to day one as if the game was launching for the first time with no expansion content whatsoever. And they have various rule sets every time they do a new progression server launch, and usually 2 or 3 different servers for people. There's one for people who want to box characters. There's one that has what's called true box restrictions, where you have to be playing on different PCs for each account. So you can definitely 2 box, I have, but you have to have 2 different PCs so that you can have one for each account. Um, they have rule sets that have enhanced XP, other ones where things are slowed down a little bit. So it's a great way to go back if you're looking to play EverQuest with a thriving community, and you don't want to go to one of the old live servers where everyone's at the cap and inflation is a big thing. You can wait for the latest progression server to launch, and you can jump in on day one with everybody else and continue to play the game as if it were launching for the first time. If I had to give someone a recommendation and say, what do I think you should do? I would say if you've never played EverQuest before, ever, and you're looking to try the game out for the first time in 2022, I would highly recommend that you start with one of the new progression servers. I believe the new ones are coming out in May of 2022. Our gaming community is going to be doing, I think, we're still tentatively looking at it. I've done every progression server since they started. Um, we're looking at potentially doing the one that's coming up this summer, but we won't be starting on launch day. We're going to be coming in like a month or two after its launch, but we'll talk about that later. The big thing is that if you've never played the game before, I would highly recommend starting with the most recent or the newest progression server, because you're going to get to be around a ton of other people, which means groups are going to be really easy to find. It means that there won't be any inflation, and it means you'll be able to experience the game as if it was a fresh launch. There's instancing these days, so everything can be done with these different instances. There's still going to be some population hiccups on day one. There always are, but for the most part, it's a very seamless process where you'll get 15, 20 different instances of a zone or a dungeon available, and they're automatically respawning as more players join. So it's very fluid the way it works these days. That'll give you a chance to try the game for the first time, and then if you like it and you think to yourself, well, I want to try something that's a little more difficult, go do P99, because then you'll have at least played the game a little bit, figured out what class you want to play, remembering though that things are quite a bit different in P99. XP is a lot slower, classes play is slightly different. It's a great way to try it out sort of as a trial run with the progression server, and then go to something more hardcore if you want to. Live servers I think are great if you are wanting to experience the newer content. But the classic progression servers give you the first several expansions. I believe they go all the way up to Planes of Power, maybe even Gates of Discord. So if you enjoy playing through the first 4 or 5 expansions worth of content, then do it on a progression server. They unlock the content at various rates, but it's a couple every couple months, I think. Might even be quicker than that these days, depending on the rule sets, as how quickly they unlock content on those and just keep going. In any case, hopefully that's given you a kind of a brief overview on EverQuest as it stands today. I do think it's worth playing in 2022. It has a very healthy population. It still has a lot of people playing the game. And comparatively speaking, when you look at a game like, say, you know, New World, which has dropped down into, tens of thousands when it used to be hundreds of thousands, you're going to get way more people playing EverQuest than you do with even Lost Ark, excuse me, or New World, and probably Lost Ark in a few months. We're going to see if that population continues to still dive. There still are a lot of people playing EverQuest 1. It's still very much worth it. The TLP servers, the TLE servers, the progression servers are very popular. Every time they come around, you get tens of thousands of people logging in, so there's lots of people playing. Highly recommended if you've never done it before. And I think EverQuest is still a great game to play in 2022, especially if you're getting a little bit tired of the run-of-the-mill content that's come out over the last few years with all these other AAA games, and you're like, you know what, these are never that good. I never get more than a month out of them. I really want something that's going to give me more. EverQuest might be the answer for you. I highly recommend it. I think you should check it out. If you got to the end of this, you liked the video, do me a favor, go ahead and give it a like. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all those good things to get all the content delivered to you when it comes out. I live stream most mornings. Check those out. Don't forget we have a Discord channel with the links down below. You can come join our gaming community. We typically play Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday evenings Central Time, and Saturday, Sunday mornings with some of our UK and European members. We do play a lot of old classic games. As of this recording, we're currently playing Lord of the Rings Online. We were playing EverQuest 2 a few months ago. We played EverQuest 1. Pretty much every year there's a TLP. We go play EverQuest 1 for a few months. We've played other games and we will be continuing to play other games. So if that all sounds fun, then don't forget to check all that stuff out. And if you want to go above and beyond and you want to figure out or learn more about what I'm doing with my brother and my wife and the world of the Weave and the Void, you can check out patreon.com/wandering hermits, where we are building the World of the Weave and the Void, which is a 5th edition tabletop setting, along with book series like Dragonlance and a point and click adventure game, all of which are out in 2022. So hopefully we'll see you there as well. Until next time, everybody, safe adventures, and hopefully I'll see you in Narath alongside everybody else in the new TLP servers that are coming out this summer. See you guys.